Today's video, we're going to go over the exact break-even math on home service Facebook ads. I'm going to give you the exact formula that you need to actually break even on ads and turn a profit based on how many leads you're going to get, based on your close rate, based on your average ticket size of whatever you offer. So if you're thinking of running Facebook ads, but you haven't pulled the trigger yet, or you once pulled the trigger, but you didn't think of it like this, of a math equation, then this video is for you. So we're going to dive into the formula really quick. It's pretty simple. You're going to take your ads, recommend a minimum of $100 a day, which equals $3,000 in a month. $100 times gets, we're just going to take 400 for example, and that's going to get us how many jobs that we need to close to break even. So basically you look at it like this. You throw all your expenses in there and you say, okay, I need this to break even on my ad spend. Everything after 8, let's call it 8, is going to be profit. So how many deals do you actually close in that month, and how many leads do you actually get? Well, that depends on the actual niche that you are in. So I took 3 niches in the home service industry that we work with, so I could give you some actual numbers here. So pest control, 3K, we're going to take that same 3K and use that throughout. Your average ticket size is going to be about $750 for the year-long contract. Your close rate is going to be about 20%, and your cost per lead is going to be between 20 and 40. So if we take that, that's going to give us 75 to 150 leads at a 20% close rate. We're going to get that number. So on the low end, you are closing 15 deals, and on the high end, you are closing 30 deals, depending on the cost per lead dependent at a 20% close rate, which is great. So anything after 4 is going to be a profit. So our month 1 result is going to be a 3x minimum ROI there. That's what we're shooting for in pest control and what we've seen there. So when you think of it like that, you're like, okay, I can make this investment and I can actually do this. All I need to do is close 4, and then everything else after that is going to be profit for me. Okay, industry number 2, electrical. You're going to have your same 3K in ad spend. Your average ticket is going to be about $1,700. Your close rate is going to be about 30%. Your cost per lead is going to be between 40 and 60. We've seen this up to 80 as well. It gets a little higher just depending on what actual service you're offering, like if it's a panel upgrade or something like that. But that's kind of what we're taking here on average. Honestly, you only need 2 jobs to break even, because 2 of them is $3,400, and then you've already broken even. So if we're taking our 30% close rate and we're going at a low end of $40, you are closing about 15 deals, and you only need 2. So based on all of these numbers, that's what it's going to look like. You're going to get at least it says 3 to 4x here, but it's going to be at least a 5x return closing some of those big deals. The returns go through the roof with electrical, which is great, because the higher ticket, the easier ads are for you and the less you need to close. But obviously you want to close as many as you can. The fastest one to the lead usually wins here. So that's kind of what we're seeing here. All right, junk removal. You're going to take your same 3K ad spend. Your average ticket's going to be about $350, but your close rate's going to be a lot higher because it's such a low ticket job. And you're going to get leads between 25 and 40 bucks, mostly on the $25 side. So you're going to get about 120 leads. And if you're closing 40% of those, then you're closing about 48 jobs, and you only need 22 to break even. So everything after that is going to be profit, and that's going to get you that 3 to 5x return on your ad spend. And that covers any sort of agency fee as well, which is the whole point of this, is to make it profitable for you so it can be profitable for me, where we can run everything together that way. So hopefully this gives you a good idea of like thinking how this would work for my niche. If you want me to go over any other niches like HVAC or plumbing or landscaping, home renovations, anything like that, I definitely can. One thing we're going to get into is this multiplier, so you can actually see what happens when you get the first job. And this works really well for pest control because you're on a monthly. Same with junk removal, you can get them on monthlies as well. Electrical, you're getting everything up front there, so that's kind of how the LTV ladder moves there. This is mainly for pest control here. We don't really need to worry about that. So basically, if you are a pest control company or a poop scoop company or waste management company, this is where the LTV comes into play. Because if you're getting 15 jobs and their lifetime value is $2,250 over 3 years, so you're keeping them on for at least 3 years, and most pest control companies keep them between 5 and 10 years on the books, you're returning 34K for those 15 jobs of the 3K that you actually spent. So that's kind of what that looks like, and how you can think of it in the bigger picture. It's kind of the same thing as the door knocking. You hire a door knocking team, you pay them for the first year up front, So you only pay when you get jobs, which is great. And then you have the rest of those 9 years plus to make that money back, basically. You can look at it the same way here, but instead of this time, you're just spending 3K and you're getting for 34K. That's basically what you're going to look at there. So when does the math not work? These are the 4 things that I pick out every time if you should run ads or if you should not run ads. So number 1 is the low ticket and the low close rate. If your average ticket's about 150 or lower and you are not on a recurring service, then you should not run ads. We've run ads for companies that are on recurring services, and this works amazing. Doesn't matter how low ticket it is, it works great. But if you're about 150 bucks and you don't have a recurring service, I wouldn't recommend ads for you unless you can generate leads for a couple bucks a piece, which is very difficult to do. Not impossible, but very difficult. If your service area is under 50K, I wouldn't say there's enough volume, especially getting into targeting and things like that. If you're capped at capacity and you can only handle 5 to 10 more jobs a month, ads are going to generate so many leads that you cannot fulfill, which is a good problem to have, but you should be ready to add more capacity once you start the ads. And last but not least, if your follow-up is slow and your response time is worse than 24 hours, then you're paying for leads that your competitors are going to close, and you're going to get a lot of no answers because you're not getting to the phone soon enough. So here's a look at the 3 industries we picked side by side. You can go through the numbers and kind of see like what it looks like, what your month is going to be. Remember, the LTV numbers is just for pest control. These other numbers don't make sense because they are not recurring services, but that's kind of how it looks and how you can turn your $3,000 into at least a minimum 3x ROI there. So now I want you to plug this in for yourself. I want you to take the ad spend, your average ticket size based on all your years in business, how many leads you're going to generate, how many booked jobs, so your close rate, and then you're going to take your spend and you're going to divide it by that, and you're going to get your numbers so you can actually see if it would make sense for you to run ads. And once you do, then you can reach out to me. We can do a nice audit on your ad account and you can actually see the ROI, and we can get you better cost per lead and leads and close rates based on meta specifically for your niches, so you can see good ROIs. And if you want to look, you can go to my website at, if I just type in ROI calculator here, it's ssgmarketing.io/ROI calculator. You can put all the numbers in here. So you put your 3K in here. Let's say we're going to get you 100 leads in the month, and then your close rate is going to be about 20, and your average job size, pest control company, 750, or your average job size, 1700. Obviously, we would cut this in half. Your leads would probably be about here, and you would close about 10 jobs if you're electrical. You just kind of mess with this and do the numbers here so you can actually see what goes on. Caveat here, I do need to update these fees, but that includes rough estimates of fees of what it would look like to run ads. And then you can see our ROAS guarantee of 2.5. So this scenario hits the guarantee at a 4.4x, which is great. Click apply and we can talk. I'll see you in the next one.